Hi, hello, my name is Edward, and this is going to be a short video about multiple intelligences, okay? One of the key things I want to start with is that everybody is different, okay? When you have a group of learners, they're all different, they're all individuals. Some people are outgoing, active and outgoing. Other people are quiet and like to work alone. So how can we help all of our students learn effectively? And how can we give multiple exposures of the language that we're teaching, such as vocabulary? Okay, it's really important to give learners repeated practice. So multiple intelligences helps with these things to help our learners as individuals and to give them lots of multiple exposures. So multiple intelligences, this is the topic. This concept was developed by Gardner. So here's a quote from Gardner. Students learn, remember, perform, and understand in different ways. So why should teachers think about multiple intelligences? Well, it helps us to create variety in lessons and activities. Okay, so when you're planning a lesson, you want to have lots of variety, lots of different types of activities. You want to give students repeated practice of the same language, vocabulary, expressions, but you don't want to have all of the activities the same or similar, and that can get a little bit boring. So, okay, and the next point is to personalize your teaching to the interests and needs of students. Okay, so different groups of students are different, individual students are different, and if you can learn about how your students like to learn and practice language, this can help. Okay, so let's have a look at multiple intelligences, some examples here. So originally, I think there were 7, and one was added new. I believe recently they've added another one, but most people think about these 8. Okay, so let's go around and have a look at the 8 intelligences included here. Okay, so the first one, the purple at the top, is bodily-kinesthetic. So these people are body smart. They like to move their body. They like to respond using their body. They like to act and mime. They like kind of sporty, kind of active things. Okay. The next one is interpersonal. Okay, these people like to interact with other people. They like to work together. These people are people smart. They like to work in groups. They like group activities and so on. The next one is verbal linguistic. These people are word smart, okay? They like to focus on language. They like to use dictionaries, do word activities, poetry and things like that, kind of linguistic types of activities. The next one going around the circle is logical mathematical. These people like puzzles, and they are known as logic smart. Next is naturalistic. These people are nature smart. They like to think about the world around them. They like to think about the world outside the classroom. The next one is intrapersonal. This is the opposite of interpersonal. Okay, intrapersonal people are self-smart. They like to work alone. They like to think about their own thoughts and opinions. These people don't really want to work in groups. They prefer solo activities. The next one round is visuospatial. These people are picture smart. And I always think about this one like a graphic designer. So if you imagine a graphic designer, what graphic designers do, they work with images and text, and they organize things visually. Okay, so visuospatial people are like that. And the final one here is musical. These people are music smart. They are good with songs and rhythms and chants and so on. Okay, so those are the 8 multiple intelligences. Now let's have a look at some examples of activities, and I want you to think about which multiple intelligences would fit with these activities. Okay, which multiple intelligences are related to these activities. Okay, number 1, create a picture dictionary with new words. Okay, so which multiple intelligence fits with this activity? Okay, well, my guess is linguistic because it's focused on words. It could also be visual spatial because they're creating a picture dictionary. They're designing something. So I think it fits with both of those. Next is to read a story and then draw a map of places in the story. Okay, so again, I think this could be visual spatial because it's a visual kind of activity. Could also be naturalistic because it's thinking about how the world is related to this story and kind of planning the world related to what you've read. Okay, next example is create sign language for each new word. Okay, sign language is when we use actions and mimes for expressing language. Okay. So what do you think? This could be body smart because it's using our body. And it could also be linguistic because it's focusing on language. Okay, next one is a cryptogram. Okay, if you don't know what a cryptogram is, have a look online. It's kind of a code using symbols or letters or numbers, and students have to use the code to find out what the secret message is. Okay, it's a really nice kind of activity and technique to use. So what do you think is the multiple intelligence for this? Okay, well, it's kind of a word puzzle. Okay, and the word puzzle gives us a clue. So a puzzle is good for logical mathematical, so these people who like puzzles, okay. Okay, the next one, create a rap, some lyrics, some hip-hop lyrics from a story. What is the multiple intelligence? Okay, well, creating hip-hop lyrics for a story could be, I think, could be people who are music smart, okay. Perhaps linguistic smart as well, but I think the rhythms are quite important for this. Okay, the next one. Do a treasure hunt with hidden objects. Okay, so the teacher hides things around the classroom or around the school. Students have to run around finding the objects. Okay, this I think could be body smart. Okay, because students are using their body. Could also be a team activity, perhaps. It could be interpersonal. Okay. And perhaps a little bit naturalistic as well, because you're using space outside the classroom. Okay, the next example is to create a body map by tracing each other's body parts. Okay, so students work together to draw a map of each other's body, to trace the parts of their body. What are the multiple intelligences? Well, it's a group activity, so I think it's interpersonal, and it's also using our body, so it is body smart as well, kinesthetic. Okay, the next example is to look on DAM or Naver or Google Maps to find places in the world. Perhaps you're studying about deserts or Antarctic or something like that, or other countries, and you go online and you look at the maps of these places. Okay, so I think this relates to naturalistic because you're bringing the outside world into the classroom. Also perhaps visual spatial because it's a very visual thing to do. Okay, the next one is to write new lyrics or a new verse for a song. Okay, so you take the song structure and the music from a song and you create a new verse. Okay, well, of course, this is music smart. Okay, and next one, create a board game with pictures and words from the story. Okay, now I think this could be several multiple intelligences. It's visual spatial because of pictures. It's linguistic because of the words. but also creating a board game and thinking about the rules and thinking about how it's organized and how it's going to work. That could also be logical mathematical. People are thinking about the rules and making a kind of puzzle. So I think it also appeals to those kind of learners as well. Okay, the next example here, highlight different words from the text, like names or verbs or adjectives and so on. Okay, well, I think this is a linguistic activity for people who are word smart because it's focusing on the words in a text. Okay, the next example here is create a Venn diagram to compare characters. Okay, so maybe you have two different characters in a story and you want to compare the things that they are similar and different. So what is the multiple intelligence for this? Okay, well, a Venn diagram is kind of a logical thing to do. It's logical mathematical. Students have to analyze the characters, think about the aspects of them to create the Venn diagram. So I think it's logical mathematical. It's also quite a visual thing to do as well. Okay, next example is to draw a comic strip and add speech bubbles to the comic strip. This could be a fun activity. Okay, a comic strip is a visual thing, and the speech bubbles are a linguistic thing. So I think it appeals to both of those. Okay, the next example is you ask the students to create a website or blog on their favorite topic. Okay, so if the student creates their own blog about something they like, this is quite an individual activity, okay? It's not a group activity. And it's also learners, thinking and considering about the topic that they like. So I think this is very intrapersonal, okay? People who are self-smart. Okay, and this next example is students write a letter to a character in a story, perhaps, about how that character feels. Okay, so they have to empathize with this character and maybe, write some kind of letter about how they should cheer up or something like this. So I think this is it's kind of a mix of self-smart and people smart. Now, to write a letter to another character, you have to think about that character and their feelings and things like that. So in that sense, it's people smart. But also it's an individual activity, so it has that self-smart aspect as well. It's also linguistic because it involves writing. Okay, the final example here is students keep a journal or diary about their new words that they've learned and their study achievements, okay? So what are the intelligences related to this? Okay, well, it's about new words they've learned, so it's linguistic. And it's a journal and a diary about study achievement, so it's also self-smart. Okay. So looking at all these examples, you can see that lots of different types of activities can relate and can include different multiple intelligences. And when you're planning your lessons, when you're thinking about the kind of activities that you're going to use, try to include a variety of activities that appeal to different intelligences. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful to think about multiple intelligences. Think about them when you're making your lesson plans in the future.